Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. And find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Are you a fan of Sewing Street and Yarn Lane? Why not join our growing Facebook fans pages? Just search Sewing Street Fans and Yarn Lane TV Fans on Facebook and click Join Group. It's that simple. Never miss out on the latest news and updates from our presenters and guest designers, special offers and plenty of chat with your fellow fans. Share photos of your makes, ask for advice, interact with your favourite guests and presenters and be a part of the ever-growing sewing and yarn community. See you there!
Keep up to date with what's on Sewing Street and Yarn Lane, as well as all the latest news and special offers by signing up to our email newsletters. For Sewing Street, head on over to www.sewingstreet.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and you're done. It's exactly the same for Yarn Lane. Head on over to www.yarnlane.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, type in your email address, click the envelope, and that's it. You are now subscribed to both Sewing Street's and Yarn Lane's email newsletters, so you'll never miss out on the latest news and special offers ever again. We know that shopping online can be a confusing and sometimes daunting task, and sometimes all you want to do is talk to a human being. Well, our family-run customer service team are on call 24/7. They're full of friendly, warm-hearted individuals, all trained to make your shopping experience as easy and as enjoyable as possible. And not only will they take your order, they will also help and guide you on your shopping journey, so you never miss out.
Missed the live show? Don't worry, we recorded it for you. Never miss out on your favourite presenters, guests and makes ever again. Head on over to our YouTube pages to watch back the day's live show and enjoy your favourite demos over and over again. We also have lots of great content exclusive to our YouTube pages, such as product demonstrations, troubleshooting videos and so much more. Subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a show or video ever again.
Hi, I'm Sam from Adventures in Crafting. I'm a craft and crochet teacher based in Tring in Hertfordshire. Since lockdown, I've moved all of my classes onto Zoom, so I now have customers from all over the country. I teach lots of crafts, but crochet is my specialism. I became passionate about crochet when I was pregnant with my fourth child and in desperate need of some me time. Crochet became my sanctuary and I've crocheted every day since then. I'm a qualified teacher and 8 years ago I began teaching crochet. I love sharing my passion with other people. I design patterns, sell kits and teach lots of classes. My classes range from beginners to next steps, specific makes and clubs. I also like to design crochet alongs. My most recent one was my autumn granny square crochet along, which resulted in me designing this allotment jumper, which I love to wear when I'm out gardening and looking after my chickens. My crochet tip for you is to enjoy it. Crochet should be about taking part in a hobby that brings you pleasure. My claim to fame is that I met Kirsty Allsop at the Handmade Fair and I gave her one of my crochet sunflower brooches. I'm so excited to be taking part in Yarn Lane and I hope you'll enjoy my demonstrations.
Have you heard about Yarn Lane, a TV show dedicated to knitting, crochet and all things yarn, bringing you demonstrations from our expert guests as well as the latest tools. and find out what's coming up on the show by following us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our email newsletter or visit the programme guide on our website at www.yarnlane.com.
Hello, welcome to Yarn Lane. My name's John Scott. We are the only shopping channel in the UK that is totally and utterly dedicated to everything yarn, whether it be knitting or crochet or macrame or anything. You mentioned it, we do it. In fact, if you have any ideas of anything that we haven't done, then please let us know. And we'll put it forward to Rebecca Reed, who is basically the brains behind the whole of this and everything. She'll be back next Monday. She hasn't been presenting for the last month because she's had so much to do for Yarn Lane. But from next Monday, she will be back. Well, she'll be doing Sewing Street and Yarn Lane every Monday from then on. Right, before we start, let's go and have a look at the website. www.yarnlane.com. Now, you need to click on Watch Live. And then that will take you to the page where you can send us a message to the studio. Or if you scroll down the page, oh, there you go, hello. If you scroll down the page, you will see everything that is for sale in the next hour. So now it's all under pre-order at the moment. Now, lots of these yarns are already selling. So everything's under pre-order. As we introduce it to you, on the show, another column will appear which says show deals, and that's where you'll be able to see everything that's been played so far. While I'm also talking about the website, we also do have a web shop as well, so you can go and have a browse any time of day and have a look at what else there is. There's yarn, there's kits, there's needles and hooks, there's patterns and books, everything like that. So it's not just what you see. There you go, click on books, you see there, and you'll see all of the books that we have to offer. Yeah, now, they've still got 20% off. We had the book show on Monday and had 20% off everything there. So if they were on the Monday book show, then they've still got 20% off. They're lovely. The Farewell book was lovely. I know, Hannah. Okay, Hannah, that wasn't your show. Come off there now. Right, I've also got, talking about Monday show, we also had a competition. All you have to do was buy something. And whoever wins, will win all of these books, right? There's £50 worth of books here. So there's Crocheted Granny Squares, Easy Knitted Tea Cozy, Crocheted Flowers to Wear, Mini Christmas Knits, Knitted Flowers, Mini Crochet, Christmas Crochet, Dressed Up Bears, Hannah, Crocheted Beanies and Crocheted Mandalas and Knitted Baby Mitts. There are 200 patterns there. And one person, who I'm just about to announce, will win all of those. And that person is Melanie Hibbert. You are the winner of our competition on Monday. Your stack of books will be on its way to you. Doesn't normally say all of that, does it? Anyway, well done, Melanie Hibbert. Those books, I'll give them to the marketing department. I've taken the ribbon off. You'll get the ribbon as well. They will all be winging their way to you very, very shortly. Right. Now, today we're doing socks for the season. Socks for each season. So, let me introduce the oh, look at them all. Aren't they beautiful? Summer, spring, autumn, and winter. So what we've got Christine here, who is the Winwick Mum, and she makes socks. Knit socks and everything. We've got lots of deals for you today. The big bundle, first of all, is this one. So if you want the book, which has got 4 hand-knitted sock designs in it. And you get this, you save 10%. So I'm thinking autumn, summer, winter, spring. That's what I'm thinking. You thought what? That one. Oh, Emma bought that one for her nan. Autumn leaves, summer sunset, winter icicle, and spring greens. So if you buy this, and this, you get 10% off. You get all 4 of those for £35.55. Now, if you've already bought something from Sewing Street this morning, your P&P is paid for. You don't even need to worry about any more P&P. If you bought this, if you check this out on your basket, you will pay your £3.95 postal packaging if you haven't already bought something from Sewing Street. If you buy anything else later on in the hour or from the web shop, you don't pay any more. It's £3.95 for one day from midnight to midnight. So that's your deal. Autumn, summer, winter, spring, plus the book with the 4 patterns in. Aren't they lovely? Lovely book as well. Let me just show you the book as well. I'll just put it there. So you got your 4 different patterns in here. Look, it's all done. It's all, you know, all been thought through. Yeah, they're all different, look. So you've got fresh shoots, you've got sizzling rays, you've got falling hues, and you've got frosted ice. So it's not just the yarn, it's the whole design. Each one has got a different design to it. This is 75% wool, 25% nylon. Whenever you make socks, you do need that nylon content in with the yarn. It's beautiful, isn't it? And this is all from West Yorkshire Spinners as well. Signature 4-ply. Okay, so let me just do the book on its own now, and then I'll carry on going through with the book. So this is it. So you can buy the book on its own. If you don't want our yarns, you've got your own yarn. It uses 4-ply. I just said, didn't I? 4-ply. Signature 4-ply. This one's done in spring greens here, but you can do it obviously in any of your own yarn, but please make sure it's got a nylon content to make socks. I love that cabling going down the side there. So that's your spring fresh shoots. That's ribbon cable. All your instructions there. Lots of pictures. Oh, and charts as well. Then you've got the someone sizzling. Now, sizzling rays are slightly easier. Because didn't I see 3 there? That was a 3. This is a 2. These are lace and rib. Then we've got lots of instructions and patterns and everything there. Charts. Then we've got falling hues. That's 3 again. Oh, that's nice. That's leaf laced and twist, that one. So they've all got different techniques in them. But I'm sure by the end of this hour, you'll know how to do all of these. And then we move on to frosted ice. And this one is lace and twist pattern, back down to a 2 again, that one. I'm always amazed at how does a variegated note change into those stripes? That's what I don't understand. It's magic. Anyway, the book on its own there, for £9.50, has got 4 different patterns in. There's the yarn, all the designs by Christine Perry. Isn't that lovely? That's so you're getting 4 patterns in there for £9.50. Not even £2.50 a pattern, is it? 4 different patterns. Okay, now, I've got the yarns on their own, haven't I, as well? Here we go, very quickly. We will get to Christine in a minute, I promise. Just so you get this bit out the way, you see, and then we can just enjoy the knitting after that. So where would you like to go first? Green, spring greens. You only need 1 ball for a pair of socks. Yep, 1 ball for a pair of socks. Unless you've got very, very, very big feet, apparently. This is Christine working with West Yorkshire Spinners. Spring green season, signature 4-ply yarn. 100 grams in there. Beautiful colours, aren't they? So that's £7.50. Okay, and that will make you those. Actually, I suppose what you could do is you could, even if you want to, you can mix and match them, couldn't you really? If you wanted the green to be for winter, you could do the winter pattern. You'd have to stick with the blue, I suppose, too. Anyway, that's that one. Next. Summer, which this one, lovely colours, hot colours, this one. These are all like lovely spices, aren't they? Like paprikas. Like when you go to a spice market in Sri Lanka and you see all the baskets of spice. That's what that one reminds me of. Beautiful. That will make the middle one there. That's the ball of yarn. 75% wool, 25% nylon. Really, really beautiful quality. 4-ply. Summer sunset, that's called. Righty-ho. Then, autumn next. They're lovely colours as well, aren't they? Autumn leaves, this one's called. Reared, sheared and spun in Britain, the West Yorkshire Spinners. See, they've even got that, look, perfect for socks with the Winwick Mum collection. There, it's already on the sleeve. And you call that a sleeve on wool? I don't know what you call that. Band? Ball band. Ball band?
Ball band.
Boy band, even. 75% wool, 25% nylon. Okay, moving on. And then this is winter. See, they're all lovely. I wouldn't know where... you'd have to buy the whole bundle because I love all of those. Okay, I've just got to do some needles now because we're going to be using some of these needles in the show. And then later on, we'll do some more of Christine's books. But which one would you like first? Double pointed green ones. These are size 3 millimetres and you get 5 in a packet. We're going to talk about these, aren't we, during the show? Yep.
Yes, I use that size for casting on so that they're not too tight.
Okay, casting on for the size 3 because they're not too tight. Don't worry, you'll get all these tips and hints during the hour, but they're for the casting on. Okay. Then I've got these ones at 2.5, which I'm presuming you do the rest of the knitting with those, yeah?
Yep.
So cast on with the 3, do the rest of the knitting with the 2.5. Right, then I've got, these are both 2.5, these ones. So these aren't for your casting on, but you can do it on a long one and a short one. I'll do the short one first. 25 centimetres, this one. And this is the one where you can see the little needle there, and then you've got your, very little, that one. Looks very little. Oh, Karen says, hello, Christine and John. Really looking forward to this afternoon's show. Thank you, Karen. Hope your back's okay. And then, oh, there they are. And then now I prefer these myself. These are 80 centimetre ones. I say I prefer these. I've never knitted a thing in my life, but you know what I mean. Beautiful. 80 centimetres, still 2.5 millimetre. Now they look pink in the picture. Yours are red. Yours are red. Right. Let's get on with the show, shall we? Hello.
Hello.
I haven't seen you for ages.
I know. It's been a good 6 months, hasn't it?
How long it's been?
Yeah, it was the beginning of the year.
Have you been in since, or is this?
Yes, this is my 4th time back.
Oh,
so
so I've missed you. Not been with me then. That's it.
No, that's right. Well, you were the first one, and then this one, and then I've done 2 in between.
Oh, okay then. I hope I'll be many more as well.
Well, thank you.
So now, just explain who are you, what do you do, and who's the Winwick Mum?
Right. Okay. Well, I am the Winwick Mum.
Yeah.
So I'm Christine, and Winwick Mum came about because that's the name of my blog. That's where I live. I live in a village called Winwick.
Okay.
And so when I originally my blog came about because I wrote for a church newsletter, but I didn't know if anyone would like what I wrote, so I wanted to do it in secret. So I thought, well, I'll just call myself Winwick Mum, and then if nobody likes it, I'm not going to get a tap in the local shop going, I didn't like that. And then it just stuck, and then because I was writing my blog, and then I ended up writing about socks. So it's not really a very crafty name, but people.
Oh no, people remember it though.
It's because it's a bit different. So I still write a blog, and I have. I write about all kinds of things, the family, the village, being out, the weather.
Can anybody read the blog?
Yes.
And what's it called?
It's called Winwick Mum.
That's all you need to look for?
Yeah. It's at winwickmum.co.uk, and it's there. So it's whatever my latest post is, and then there's lots of information on how to knit socks for beginners, and lots of my patterns, because I just want people to be able to knit socks. And then as the years went on and the sock obsession grew, then I got to know about West Yorkshire spinners and used their yarn, and I got to know them, and that's how we've ended up working together, and they're just brilliant.
Oh, they are.
I just
high quality as well, aren't they?
They're
really
lovely. They're lovely.
Do you have social media where we can follow your pictures?
I do. I'm on Instagram as Winwick Mum. I'm on Facebook as Winwick Mum. I'm on Pinterest as Winwick Mum, and YouTube as Winwick Mum Socks.
Oh, okay, Winwick Mum Socks. So if you want to follow you, then you can do. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
so today, this is called the 4 Seasons. Obviously, this is your book. These are your patterns.
Right, yes.
And you're working in conjunction with West Yorkshire Spinners to create. Now, did you create these colours for your socks, or they ones that they had and you said, I'll just pick those?
No. This is my second yarn collection with West Yorkshire Spinners, and the first one were colours that related to the blog and were things that meant something to do with the blog theme, and then this collection is called Seasons because that's what inspired me. I showed them the colours that I would like, and then we'd already worked out the way that the stripes work. So these are my Winwick Mum stripes.
Oh, fantastic! So it's not, you haven't just picked up a green ball and gone, I'll make them out of this. You've designed it.
These are mine. So there's a story behind all the colours and the way all the patterns are put together, because I have a story behind everything.
No, of course. And sometimes that's the best way, because it comes from a passion, doesn't it? It's not just I'm going to make some money writing this book. You've done it because you've got a passion for the colours, the knit, the yarn, and
everything. And so I'm being absolutely spoiled to bits, I'm able to go to them and say, these are the colours I'd really like to use, and then they'll take them away to the genie, incredible people in all the magic that happens in the dye house, and then they'll come back with samples, and then we'll look at them, and might tweak a little bit here and there, but then I always know it's right when it comes back and it makes me cry. So.
Oh, that's so nice. Right, so what are we going to do today then? What are you going to show us today?
Well, I've actually brought needle samples with me again,
because the last time I was here with Rebecca, she was talking about magic loop and how she particularly wanted to look at how you would do that. And because I've always talked about socks being really portable projects, and they're fantastic if you're waiting in cars or waiting in waiting rooms or having to go anywhere, then the needles, either the short circulars that the very tiny ones that you were talking about, so either those ones or the magic loop are the best for doing that with. But magic loop can be quite daunting for some people when they look at it first, because at the moment it looks like I'm in the wrong place. Is that the right place then?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
At the moment it looks like a large prawn, with this great big loop here. So, and you can't quite work out in the beginning how it's all going to work. So I thought, well, I'll talk to you about these and then the needle choices and which way you would pick them depending on what your knitting style is, because people who come to socks later often have their own knitting style, but
they've never knitted on these or those before.
And knitting on circulars can be different if you've got a particular way of doing it. So I thought we would talk about that, and then if anyone's been thinking, well, maybe I could take my socks out and about, then perhaps see how easy it is to do, because making those rounds, when you just get going and you get in the zone, then even if you're somewhere that you're a bit worried about, then it just helps to calm it all down.
So if you wait to the dentist, or something, we were saying we all hate. But actually, if you take your knitting with you, it's going to give you calm.
I have to tell you, I've got to the point now when I go to the dentist and I sit in the chair with my eyes shut and I imagine that I'm making the stitches, and I've done it so often now that I can be doing it in my head, and then I forget about what the dentist do.
I pretend I'm lying on a California beach whenever I need something like, or if they're taking the blood pressure at the doctor's, and always, as soon as somebody in a white coat comes in, my blood pressure shoots up and everything. If you dream about being on a beach in California or something like that, it just kind of, it's incredible what your mind can do. Will we also talk about the different styles of the socks as well?
Yes, which way round would you like to go?
Oh, which up to you, Hannah. Which way would you like to do? Let's go needles, because that's what Rebecca Reed said we were going to do.
Needles, right. Okay. Specs on so I can see.
Yeah, lovely.
Right, okay. So the three types of needles that you've got here. Firstly, there's double pointed needles, and yours come in a set of 5.
Yeah.
Mine originally came in a set of 5, and one of them is somewhere, because that's what happens with double pointed needles, and they it could be down the sofa, it could be in the car, it could be. It could be anywhere.
Okay, so you cast on with a 3 and then knit with a 2.5.
Yes, and by doing that, then it means that the cuff isn't too tight, because your stitches are bigger. Well, that's because I use a cable cast on.
Yeah.
If you have another form of stretchy cast on that you like to use, then do that instead, and you might be fine just to stick with the smaller needles. But because I know that the cable cast on doesn't stretch that much, then that's why I do that, to make sure.
Yeah, no, it's good tip. So, also, you don't want the top of your socks to. I hate it when you take your socks off and you've been garroted almost with the top of your socks.
There's tricks to stop that as well, and I will talk about. In fact, I'll bring some samples next time I come in. But yes, there are tricks to do with that, and that's to do with knitting rows first, so they roll over, or making them looser. But you definitely don't have to put up with socks cutting into you, and it's just not comfy, is it? No. So when you're knitting with double points, you can either knit them on 3 needles as a triangle, like this, so it's fine that I've lost one of the needles and it's down the side of wherever it is, or you can knit them in a square, and then you'd use all 5 of the needles in your set. And some people just like double points, and they're much more popular over in Europe. You can see I've pinged some off here. It's easy to lose stitches on these, so this is why they're not always the favourite choice for beginners who get quite cross with them. It's a bit like wrestling a hedgehog when you're casting in.
I've heard about wrestling with the hedgehog.
Yeah, when you cast it on, they're flicking all over the place. So they are the traditional way to knit socks. Some people absolutely love them. Some people start with them because they think they should or they want to, and they try something else and then.
How do you know when you go from a 3 to a 2.5? Is it in the pattern, or is it when your ribbing stops?
It's always in my patterns, because I always write them for a cast on with 2 needles, and the other thing that you'll see about my patterns is that I have a little gap here, because I suggest that you cast on with 2 needles and then you sew the gap up later. Because particularly for beginners, they've got so much to think about. If you've got all of the needles and then you've got the yarn, and you're trying to keep them and stop your stitches twisting. And then the last thing you need is to be thinking about gaps as
Of
well.
course,
So I just tell people to cast on and work a couple of rows first, so that they've got a solid amount of stitches to work with, and then nothing's twisting. It's you can adapt it later. We just need to get people through their first pair.
Of course,
And when you've got them on your feet, you go, right, okay, next time what I'm going to do is, and then you experiment it.
And you
and
start
it's
getting
great.
addicted like you have been with
Yes,
socks.
that's right. I'm just drawing everybody in.
Yeah. Don't blame me.
So they're the double pointed ones, and then this is the short circular. So that's the tiny needle that you have.
Well, I just thought it looked a bit too small.
Do you know, it's all right when it's in your hands. It's okay. It's this 25 centimetre size this is the smallest size that I can work with, because they go even smaller than this.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do. Some people, the next size down is very popular, but it makes my hands cramp.
Yeah.
So this size is a good size, I think, for starting with, and you can get one size bigger as well. Which is often the one that I use, but this one's great because it covers a whole range of sizes. So they knit socks for big feet to tiny feet, whereas the slightly bigger size, you can't do children's socks and that, because you can't go down to a certain size.
Okay.
So this one has 2 needle tips that are the same size, but the needle that you've got, it's got 2 different size tips. It has, and that's
Oh yeah, one's longer than the other.
That's right. That's quite a new innovation that's come about, and lots of people really like that because of the way that you can hold.
You can see on the picture there.
Yeah, that's right. So just so that you know that it looks a bit different to the one that I've got, but it means that you can flick the stitches around once you get going. People can flick the stitches around a little bit faster.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, it's all technique thing. You have to sort of get your hands with it and get going with it. But
you see, to me, that you said you went smaller, you get crampy hands. I think I'd get crampy hands.
That feels
with
a bit
one,
fiddly for you. Yeah. So then the other method, and then this is the 80 centimetre needle that you like. So this is magic loop, and instead of your sock being in a circle that you're working on here, you have a front and a back.
Oh, okay.
And so especially if you've got a pattern in there, so if you wanted to work one of these socks and you had a front and a back to it, then it makes it easier to see where you're up to and keep track of the pattern. And the way that you would work this one is that you're always working on the front stitches. So whereas with this one and the double points, you just keep going round and round, and you'd have a stitch marker to show you where the beginning of the round was, whereas you don't really need that with this one. I often put a safety pin in so that I know what the front of it is. But then because you're working on the front or the back, you're always working on the stitches that are right in front of you.
Oh, okay.
So, and the way to get to them is you just pull the needle out of the back.
Because it's not going to fall off the end, is it?
It's not. No, you have to be sure that you pull it the right way. Because if you pull it that way, then you'll only do that once. I think we've well, maybe
all done it.
Yeah, that's and then that gives you. Let me move that. Whoops. Let me move that one out of the way there. It gives you a loop on each side, and that's why it's called magic loop.
Okay, so you've still got the stitches on the needle that you're going to work on.
That's right. They're quite safe here on the cable. They're not going anywhere. Yeah. So then you would knit.
So you're going to work on those that are on
these stitches here.
Yeah.
Yep. So if I just pull that backwards, and we imagine that I've gone.
Oh, it just goes back on quite easily then.
Yeah. And then so if we imagine that I've just knitted this row. So my working yarn is here, and I'm ready to turn it round and start the next side. Then I would just do exactly as I've done. I'd turn it round, and here's the next one to go. Hold tight onto the front one so I know not to pull that one.
Yeah.
And then the back one goes.
Oh, wow. Then it's out the way then. And you can
that's right. And then you just keep going round and round with that one. And with this one, you don't need any other needles to knit your whole sock.
Right.
So with the double points, you can do the whole sock on double points. You can do the whole sock on this one. But with the short circular, what happens is that when you get to the heel, because you're trying to work a heel flap, you can do it, but it gets a bit fiddly.
Yeah,
so
as a beginner, don't really go for that one.
That's well, not don't go for this one, but as a beginner, you need double points as well.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Right. And why is this one then? Why is this one both the needles the same size, or the tip ends the same size, but that one, the big one, Why haven't they done a big one and a little one on here?
I don't know actually. I think it's I would guess. Of course, not being a sock needle manufacturer, I would guess it.
Why not? Why are you not making your own
Well,
needles?
maybe I just need to move into that one then.
Yeah.
I think it might be because they're used for other projects as well as socks.
I see.
So they were probably created first, whereas there's been quite a lot of development in sock needles. Yeah. And so when I first started knitting socks, then you just got 2 tips of the same size, and it's only been over the last few years really that there's been the development to have one of one size and one of the other.
Brilliant. Okay, let's get on to the socks now. Is my clock still all right? Our clock's playing up today.
All right.
Okay, we're fine. That's a little bit slow now. It's 4 minutes slow, so it's past now. So we're all right.
Okay.
So let's move on. Should we move on to the sock and the sock patterns now?
Yes. Okay. So, let me squeeze this off.
I didn't know.
I'm so strong. I've just ripped it off. No, it's my Velcro sock. So, right then. So this is fresh shoots in the spring green pattern.
Yeah.
And it's a cable pattern as you spotted.
Yeah.
And the way that it's designed, it goes down this one side of this sock and it goes down the other side of the other sock, so that when you stand together, then you've got them on either side of your foot.
Yeah.
And the yarn itself came about from being out in spring. So these are spring colours, and the yellows are primroses or daffodils or whatever flowers are out in your hedgerows. And the cables were inspired by where I grew up. There was a farm, and just on our road. I never thought twice about it as a child. You don't, do you? But the farmer who lived at the farm was a champion ploughman, and he used to win prizes for his very straight furrows. And so this is what the cables are. They're the furrows and the turned earth and all of that combined with the spring colours. So that's where that came from. And the cable, it's all the way down the front and a little bit down the back, down to the heel, and the rest of it is rib, and the rib makes it stretchy. So even though cables traditionally pull fabric in a little bit, then the rib makes it stretchier, so that the sizes you won't have to adjust the sizes to get them on your foot.
Lovely. So, and what was that, a 2 or a 3, the green one?
I think it might have said it was a 3
because of the cable.
Because of the cable. But to be honest, I design all of my socks for adventurous beginners.
Okay.
So if you can knit at a basic sock, I mean, some people would launch straight into this, and why not? I think if we've got an incentive to do something, you're more likely to finish it. But and if you've made cables in something else, then you know how to do them.
So if I'm making that sock,
yes,
I need more than, because don't you need a cable? I'm a learner. I'm still learning. Don't you need a cable needle or something to do cable? Yes,
you can have a cable needle, or you can use a double-pointed needle if you've not got one.
Right.
It's just a bit longer, isn't it? But cable needles are shorter. Sometimes they have dips in them.
It's a funny.
So that you don't lose your stitches off them. But if you were really stuck and you didn't have one, a double point would be fine.
So you could knit those on your circular needles that we've got, and then when you get to the cable bit, you just need to use the other needle, basically.
Yeah, that's right. They're only small cables, so some people like to be adventurous and don't use a cable needle at all. And if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But,
okay. And the heel on yours and the heel turn and everything, is that quite a simple? Because we've seen some that are very, very simple. We've also seen some, and I've sat here going, I'm completely lost. Is it quite a simple way that you do your heel?
It is the heel, flap, turn and gusset that I always write. So with all of my patterns, if somebody is particularly stuck, they can go to my blog and find all my basic instructions, and then they'll be able to use those.
I think you did that. Didn't you do that in the first show with me? Didn't you do the heel as it goes round?
That's right. So this one will be the same. This particular one is it's a type of stitch that I use. I've not seen anybody else use it, so I think it's mine. But I call it the ribbed heel flap, and it's slightly wider. So what I was thinking is that this might be a sock that might be more likely to be knitted for men rather than just women. A man's not going to want a lacy sock necessarily. It might do. I know men who do knit lacy socks.
Yeah, I'll have a lacy sock. Thank you very much indeed.
But I want everybody to knit
all
the
socks.
I
love those. I love those cable ones.
But some men are particularly traditional, aren't they?
I'm only teasing you.
So no, it's So what I was thinking, if somebody had a slightly wider foot, then just to make sure that the heel flap fitted, then this one is ever so slightly stretchier. But you could, because all of the way all the patterns work, then if you didn't want to use that heel flap for that, you could use that heel flap or that heel flap.
Oh, so each of them has a different heel flap then?
No, they're all. I think I've used the rib heel flap and I've used the traditional heel flap.
Okay.
So you could use one.
So you
or
can
one.
swap and change, basically.
It's fine, yeah, that would
And
work.
is that easy to do then? If you're stitching along, you don't think, oh, I don't want to do this heel, I want to do that heel. You can just jump from pattern to pattern.
Yeah. I am all about making it as easy as it can be. So yeah, that would be absolutely fine.
And what happens if you've got, like you say, that one's for a gentleman, and he's got a huge, like a size 12 foot, right?
Yes.
Can you make it longer or wider, or is that not possible?
No, that's absolutely possible because hand knitted sock size is based on the width of the foot.
Right.
So there are 4 sizes for each pattern.
Okay, I didn't notice that.
No, they've written for 4 sizes. So they start off at an 8-inch circumference, which is my feet. I've got quite narrow feet.
Yeah.
And then they go bigger.
Oh yeah. So you've got 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5 circumferences. That's in inches.
That's right. And then don't forget that they will still stretch a little bit as well. So that's the circumference, and then any bigger than that, you can still adapt them.
Mm-hmm.
I still help people change my patterns if we need to. But then if you need it longer, you just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
So now, would there be enough yarn on this ball to go a little bit further?
There is. It's got a cable in it, so I think you would have to be a bit careful. On a plain sock, I've had a large size 14 pair out of one ball.
Oh, okay,
so
but that's a plain without the cable.
That was a plain, yeah, and they wouldn't have been matched. So if matching is a
oh, what?
Is
an
issue.
That's what I was going to say to you then. So if you make one sock, how do I know my stripes on my second sock are going to be in the right place?
Because I have a fantastic tutorial on my blog that can help you do that. But actually, it's really easy because the way that the stripes work, there's a thin stripe either side of the thick block.
Right.
So if you pick one of those for one of the colours and remember what you've done on the first one.
Oh, and it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
I wouldn't mind though. I wouldn't care if the stripes were slightly out.
They won't go on my feet. It's like opposing magnets. They just don't go on my feet if they don't match.
Okay, then fine.
But the other thing is that if you think that you might only run out by a little bit, you can use a different colour for the cuffs and the heels.
Oh yes.
And then
you make sure
and
then
you
all the
make
sock
sure.
is in this, and then so that the heel turn and the top of the bot is like a dark, just a plain dark green or something.
Yeah, and that works. That always works really well. I really like seeing the colour combinations that people put with them. They post on social media. They look great.
Brilliant. So let's move on then from the fresh shoots one, which is that's the board. So you need to buy the book. Either you buy the whole bundle, where you get the bundle. Put the bundle in. You can buy all of them, where you get all 4 seasons plus the book for $35.55. You get 10% off. 10%. That's the most popular option so far. You can buy. So that's that. Then that. Ignore all that. Okay. Now you can, if you just wanted to do the green sock just now, you can buy the book because all 4 patterns are in the book. The book on its own. There you go. It's £9.50. That has all 4 patterns in there. And then if you think of, I've already got the book, or I already know what I'm doing, I just want the colour, then you can buy as many balls as these you want. If you want to buy 4 balls of this, you can do. It's not limited, but we're just selling it by the ball, as it were, today. And that one there is in your spring greens, and that one is £7.50. It's 75% wool and 25% nylon. Do we know what kind of wool it is?
It's got a percentage of blue-faced Leicester.
Oh yeah, blue-faced Leicester. Blue-faced Leicester. There you go. Lovely. Okay, so let's move on to what have you got next? You've got summer
sunset.
Next. Yeah, let's do summer next. So again, if you want to buy the book you can buy the book separately. If you just want to buy this, and you can buy as many of them as you want, this one is called Summer Sunset. And what's so special about the pattern for this one then?
Well, it's this bit here. At the top, there's a sunset at the top of the sock because this whole sock and the yarn is midsummer, which we've just passed.
Yeah.
It's a lazy evening in the garden after a hot sunny day. You've got a glass of something cool.
What country are you in?
Oh, I am in Winwick because I have seen this.
I know, but not this year though. It's just raining every day this year.
We've had a rubbish midsummer this year, haven't we? But actually, last year when I designed the yarns, Was it last year? Year before?
Last year we were in the middle of lockdown.
It was last year.
Yeah.
We designed these in the middle of lockdown.
Oh, yeah.
It was
when
crazy.
It was beautiful every single day and scorching
and
hot.
these colours actually were a sunset that we saw from our window. It was amazing. So I wanted to catch that and those moments just as you reach these colours and the sun's going down. It's been a lovely day, and you just sit there and we have bats near us. You can see the bats going over, and you're starting to get the evening smells, and that was what this sock was all about. And so it's just got a little bit of lace here, which is the sunset. And when you look at it, you can see the sun going down. It doesn't matter which order the socks go in, or which the yarn goes in. You'll still get colours of the sunset, and then the rest of it is rib, which is very easy. So that's why it was a level 2 in the book, because it's only this bit. So if you've never done lace before, there's only a tiny bit at the top. It's really easy, and then the rest of it is just plain or plain rib. So that's,
but also again, if you're making it, the person you're making for doesn't like lace, you could just carry on with, because your husband or your man might like those colours, and as you say, you could just miss off that tiny bit of lace, couldn't you? Just do a rib sock, and then they're not going to complain, are they?
No, they're not.
But what's nice about that rib is it's kind of like a wide bit. It's not rib. It's like kind of, you've got a groove, then you've got like a couple of inches, and then the next groove.
Yeah,
I quite like that.
That's right. It kind of all fitted with my idea of being sort of a bit of a sort of lazy day. I didn't want anything that was too ribbed and looked too busy. Whereas when I looked at this one, it felt like the furrows of the ground, and it felt like almost like a working sock.
Yeah.
So whereas I wanted this one to be a bit calmer and a bit softer.
Beautiful. And again,
Thank
you've
you.
chosen all those colours with the West Yorkshire spinners, haven't you, to get the exact right colours. Now, is that the same heel or is that the different heel to the last one?
Let me tell you. Put my specs on. Now this is an Eye of Partridge heel.
This is what?
It's an Eye of Partridge heel.
Right.
And so the way that you make this is in the same way that you do a traditional heel, but instead of having it so that the rib lines go down in stripes, then you break it up. And I just like the way it worked with the yarn, so that
it looks lovely,
so
doesn't
that
it?
Yeah, thank you. It wasn't the regular stripes. I just like that.
I just love it because nobody else is going to have a pair of socks like that, are they? Really?
You can say that about every hand knit. Nobody's going to have a pair of socks quite like yours.
No, exactly. Got a question for you here from Mary. Did you say from Mary? Coming across bottom. Please, would you ask which bit of the gusset, as I have just knitted the heel. Hang on. Please, would you ask which bit is the gusset, as I've just knitted the heel and not sure if it's the top or the sole, from Mary in Surrey. Right.
Okay. Well, if you're following my pattern, then what will happen is you'll have worked the leg down to here, and then you'll have done the heel flap here.
That is it, right?
And then the heel turn is this triangle here on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then when you join the yarn back in, well, the yarn's already. Sorry, you don't cut the yarn. When you pick up the stitches here to carry on working all the way around your sock, then it's this bit here that's the gusset, and so you're doing deep decreases all the way down here.
Is that a different stitch then where the gusset is?
No, they're just decreases.
Okay.
So they make a line that goes down. That's all. And I would just say just follow the pattern. It'll
I
make
hope that
sense.
helps, Mary. Christine, I've just finished my colour palette socks and I've got loads of ends. Is that one of yours? What's your tip for weaving in the ends, please? And also, when knitting on a magic loop, how do I avoid ladders? I always get them, so I stick to 9-inch circulars. That could have been in a different language for me. So start again.
No, it's all right. I've got it.
Oh, you got it?
I've got it. I understand the language.
Right, go on then. Tell me about your loose ends then.
Right, okay, loose ends. I weave them in as I go, which is a bit late for you now. I think you're just going to have to get on with it. Get a brew, get a piece of chocolate, and just get on and weave them all in. But I try and weave them in it as I go.
Okay.
And then that saves a lot of that. And then on the 9-inch circular, that's the tiny circular, so that makes my hands cramp up.
Oh, okay.
But obviously you can manage this one.
Yeah. But why does she get ladders on a magic loop?
On a magic loop, it's because specs on again.
Yeah.
It's because when you change here, then it just can't be. Some people don't get them, but I'm sure it's to do with the length of the yarn that goes from. Oops, hang on, I'm in the wrong place. Goes from this stitch here to the first stitch there, and because this is my sample sock. I've got a tiny bit of a ladder showing, but further down I was okay. So sometimes they go with washing. It sounds like they're not going with washing here. So I would suggest, if you've tried pulling the yarn tighter for the first couple of stitches and that's not working, then instead of when you start the next one, instead of wrapping the yarn around that way to make the stitch, try wrapping the yarn around that way instead, because that shortens the amount of yarn that's there.
And that doesn't give you a different stitch then?
No, it makes it exactly the same. What will happen, so you think that you've got a tiny stitch there, but sometimes it just stretches it.
Oh, yes, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
so the yarn's going a longer way round, and it's a shorter way round.
Yeah, so putting it over the top will fix it, but what will happen is that the stitch it's called mounted in a different way. So if you can see on a normal stitch, then the front leg is towards the front, but what will happen if you do it back, sort of wind your yarn around the other way, then the front leg is at the back.
Yeah.
But that's fine, because you can still just put your needle in and then make the stitch that way, right. and it still comes out exactly the same.
Oh, okay.
But so nobody would ever notice. But because you're using a slightly shorter amount, it's millimeters.
Yeah. But that's all it takes.
It seems to make the difference.
Okay.
Sorry. And the only other thing is that if it's a plain sock, then just move around a couple of stitches.
Just move around a couple of stitches,
yeah, and
Karen.
that works as well.
Okay. Jan says, why do I get holes when I pick up stitches, please?
Okay.
Not that you know, Jan, or what you know, but why would one get holes when they pick up stitches?
Right. If you get a hole here at this point at the end of the heel flap, then that's really common. So the way to get around that is to pick up an extra stitch between the instep top of the foot stitches here and the end of the heel flap. But you need to make sure that you pick up a proper stitch. So you'd make sure that you would avoid picking up a loop like this.
Right.
You'd need to make sure that you picked up the proper leg of the stitch, and then that should stop the holes.
Brilliant.
If you're getting holes on the way down, then it might be a case of experimenting. So if you're just going in through either the front or the back loop, try going in with both loops, or if you use both loops and you're getting the hole, then try the front or the back loop and see whether that works.
So it's all trial and error, really.
Yeah, but what happens is because it's all people's techniques, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another person, but you do tend to find once it's done that you can't see. It looks like a massive hole at the time.
Yeah.
But then you can't see it when you've got the sock on. So
exactly.
Sometimes we worry about these things, but later it's not really a problem.
Karen says, thank you very much. I'll try that on my next sock.
Oh,
right,
good.
let's move on now to autumn, which I think are beautiful colours, these.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to put the bundle back in because this is the most popular of the whole show. What you get with the bundle is you get the book that's got the 4 patterns in, and you get all 4 yarns, so you can make each a pair of each season if you wanted to. Or if you've got one you love, you can make them all of the same design. You know what I mean? The choice is yours. But the whole bundle, you get 10% off. So for that bundle, you get 4 yarns plus the book, £35.55. Okay, we'll leave that graphics in because we'll carry on talking about the autumn one now, which is one you've chosen for the front of the cover as well, isn't it?
Yes, I didn't choose it. Do you know what? The graphics and the marketing people at West Yorkshire Spinners are ace.
Oh, okay, they did all that for you.
They did all of this. They're just amazing.
Okay, so talk to me about these then, because these look a little bit more complicated.
Well, the colours are a walk with the dog. These are all the leaves in the autumn and the berries, and you don't realise quite how many colours there are till you look, do you? But
that's what they say. We never look up. Like when I lived in London, you would never look up. It's only that I've moved to the countryside, and you actually do look up and see all the different colours. Or in the hedgerows, you do notice. And also because we've had to walk more this last year because I was stuck at home for 10 months or whatever. You literally see things. I've driven past for 10 years, never noticed them. You start walking through the hedgerows or through the fields, you think, it's just see things like that.
You'll see it, and so many people said last year we had such an amazing autumn, and we weren't sure whether it was because we'd had such a lovely summer or whether just because we noticed it more, as you say. So the pattern that's on here, it's a leaf lace. So I chose it because it looks like leaves.
Yeah.
And,
is that a very old pattern, like an antique pattern? I kind of that would remind me of like a 1940s cardigan.
Well,
she looked at me then. She gave me such a look then. What are you talking about, John?
No, I'm thinking about that one. That's my grandma used to design cardigans and jumpers and things.
Channeling your grandma, obviously.
I'm trying to think whether it would have been something she designed in that time. It might well have been, because a lot of the stitch patterns that are used have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
We can find them in books and online things, but I don't know if anybody really knows exactly where a lot of them came from. Some of them we can trace the pedigree, but not all of them. So, but yeah, you're right. I think it would look good in a vintage.
Only know because I used to do costumes. I did Poirot, was one of my first jobs.
Oh, did you?
That was 1936. So there was so much knitwear like that we used to have either made or you'd get from the higher shops.
That's proper exciting, isn't it? So, I want to talk about that now.
No, you carry on about your sock now. Go on.
So yes, leafy lace, and it's quite easy. It's a short block pattern that you just keep repeating all the way down, and then the twists are here, and these are tiny, almost like they're 2-stitch cables. You just twist the stitches. It's so you'd knit one and then you'd knit the second, then you slide them both off the needle at the same time. It's a really easy technique, but it looks very effective. And these we've got a huge sycamore tree in our garden, and it was the helicopters, the keys that come off. That was what made me think about these. And again with the pattern, it's on the front and then it's on the back. So if you didn't want to do it on the back, you could just do it plain.
Yeah, so maybe Karen, when she's dropping a stitch, she go, "Oh, it's antique lace. That's how it's meant to be. They're antique lace holes."
Do you know what? We can say that anything is meant to be like that. Yeah. All these design elements, they're great, and you don't get the extra swear words knitted into Marks and Spencer's socks either. So.
No.
So that's that one. This is a traditional heel stitch. So it's slip one, knit one, as opposed to slip one, purl one, and that's it. You can because you do the sole plain. Then these are quite good to do on Magic Loop, because you'd have the pattern on one side and then you do it on plain on the other one. Whereas if you're doing them in the round on double points or the short circles, then it's a good idea to have extra markers so that you know where you are, so you can keep track.
Perfect. And then finally, let's move on to winter then.
Here we go. This was a visit to the Ice Hotel for a birthday.
Oh wow!
The birthday that was a bit longer ago now than I like to. I don't like to think I'm as old as I am. Really.
No, none of us do.
We never do we? And that's when I realised that although you think that snow is white, then all of the colours they're just our colours.
Yeah.
And the Ice Hotel was built of ice with lights inside and the reflections.
Did you stay for more than one night? Most people I know go for one night and then stay in a posh hotel down the road afterwards.
We stayed for a couple of nights, but because my youngest was, I think she was under 2, so we couldn't stay in the Ice Hotel itself. We stayed in a cabin on the site, but we stayed for a couple of nights. So it was proper spoilt. It was
no, it's posh. But it's just the thought of sleeping on an ice bed and things like that.
Oh, they look great. They've got reindeer skins. I would love that. I would love to go back. I'd absolutely love to go back, but and not have a wrestling, screaming child.
Maybe it could be your next significant birthday.
Yeah.
And you've not got a 2-year-old with you.
I will keep suggesting that. Yeah, she might get a warm clothes on without having been pinned down. And she didn't like it.
I can imagine.
So anyway, that's where these colours came from,
Okay.
and even the blue was. I saw the blue there. It was amazing, and so the lace panel that goes down the middle, it's similar in design to the autumn leaves, in that it's got a central panel, and then it's got these twisted stitches again. These just twist in a slightly different way. But because I was thinking about ice and how it's when you look at it on a window in the winter, it's all leaves and it's and it's very frosty, it's very beautiful. But then they build buildings out of it, so it's also very strong and it can be very angular. So this is actually quite an angular lace pattern, because that's what I was trying to think about, how strong it was with the little cables, but then try and incorporate some of the hotel and some of the some of the leafy stuff that you see as well in the pattern. So that's where that one came from, and again, it's front and back. You can choose what you how much of that you want to do with that.
I mean, you're right about the colours, because I'm going to name drop again now. When I was filming with Angelina Jolie on a glacier, in Iceland.
Oh, you're just the man to know, aren't you?
You'd be there all day long, standing in your salopettes and your thing and not being able to go for a wee or anything. But you would see, and all it would take is not just that the snow was different colours, but it would just take for the light to just suddenly change.
Yeah.
And something that was pure white suddenly was like, oh, look at the shadows, look at the different colours within it. And and obviously the deeper the ice got, the more intense the colours were and things like that. So fantastic.
So it's amazing. It was a proper lesson in looking beyond what you think you.
But
can
also
do.
we'll all just take it for granted, but you'll have been actually, because of your craft and your art, you'll be looking for even deeper. Like I'll go by and go, oh yeah, that's nice sort of thing. Whereas you're going, oh, I can see a blue, I can see a pink, I can see a this in there and everything. Anyway, so that's lovely. The whole bundle, which is very, very popular. Very, very, very popular. You get all 4 balls of yarn, which is wool, and it's also nylon mix, 25% nylon mix. It's from the Blue Face Leicesters. Some of it is. And you get the book with all 4 patterns in. And they're not just, I mean, there you get everything you need to know. Just do the first one. You get all of the written instructions, photographs, and then your charts. And you've got different sizes within, look. So look, there you go. You've got different sizes that you need to measure around the circumference of the foot. And you can keep this. So even if you've used these, just use any 4-ply. You can make them again and again and again. But when you make socks, please make sure you don't just use a pure wool. That's right, isn't it? You need that.
You can knit socks out of anything. It's just that they become less hard wearing if they don't have the nylon in. Right. So if you wanted bed socks or sitting around watching the telly socks, then that's fine. But you just, if you're going to wear them every day out in your shoes, you'd be disappointed if you spent all that time and they went through, and that's why you'll get more wear out of them with a
so I always say don't, but you can do, but don't use those as hard wearing socks.
Yeah, I just wouldn't use acrylic, otherwise you might get sweaty feet.
Well, Hannah has that already. So but Hannah's mum makes her socks every Christmas, but there's so many knots inside. She says she's going to wear them just on the sofa. She can't walk in them because they hurt too much. Right. The book. Oh, yes. Now, I've got 2 of your books here. One of them hasn't arrived from the warehouse. So the first one, we'll do... Yeah, I haven't got the orange one. Here's the orange one. There's a picture of it. Don't worry. Here you go. So that's the best place to start, really, isn't it?
Yes,
if you want to learn how to make socks.
Yes, I've written that so that as best as I can sit with somebody and I can help them get from a ball of yarn to a pair of socks.
But are there more? There's more than one pattern in there, isn't there?
There is one basic pattern, and it's written in 3 ways. So it's written for 3 sets of needles.
Right.
So that's why it's such a thick book, because it's the same pattern written 3 times. But there, and that's for 4-ply. But there's also a 6-ply version as well, which is a slightly thicker yarn. It's not as thick as double knit.
Right.
6-ply it tends to be mostly used for accessories as far as I can work out, but it makes it a good pair of boot socks. It's a little bit thicker than 4-ply, but it's not bulky, so it's not as thick as welly socks, and so that pattern's in there as well. But
so that's a good one to start with.
Yeah, but it is just the one pattern, but it's written for any set of needles.
Okay, but then if that's super socks, we've got more super socks now. What will we find in this book then?
In this book, this is for people who want to build on the techniques that they've learned in super socks. So they can already knit a pair of socks, and this one will help you to get to grips with cables, lace, intarsia in the round, and colour work. And there are 4 in-depth tutorials with videos that you can link to on YouTube. No,
not for videos in my book.
There are video links in there, and you'll find those on YouTube. And then there are 4 exclusive patterns that are in there, because people ask me about extra patterns in super socks, but I just wanted that to be one. There's so much information in there. It would have been about this big, and nobody would have put it on their shelves,
exactly.
would they?
And also, when you do your first book, you don't know, like you say, you don't know if anyone's going to buy it or anything, do you? No. You know what I mean? So you do. I just
launched straight in there.
No, I'm going to do the whole set of books. It's fine. So this one is called More Super Socks. So just flick through it there. So you have got lots and lots of patterns and detailing and different additional patterns in there.
Yeah, there are 8 patterns in there. So there's the 4 in-depth tutorials. And if somebody doesn't know about my writing style, they wants to have a look, then they'll find those ones on the blog, but not the exclusive ones. They are just in the book, and there's an exclusive one each for cables, lace, intarsia, and colour work, and the ones that are on the cover, that's one of the exclusive ones. Those are the colour work socks. They're my rainbow zigzag ones.
Okay, so but do you need special? Do you need to buy a special ball of yarn to get those those colours?
That is, you need one ball of black and you need one ball of Rum Paradise, which is another West Yorkshire spinners yarn. It's a rainbow yarn, but you could use any yarn that changed colour. So you could use one of these, and it'll still create those.
Or
those
I suppose if you've got a gentleman who doesn't, or a lady who doesn't like colour that much, but likes a colour, you could do blue and red and blue. And, you know what I mean? You could do the main sock in blue and just a zigzag in green or something.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be rainbow.
I've seen them knitted in all kinds of different versions, and they all look good. You know, you can't go wrong. It just all works.
Well, as Karen says, they're never mistakes, John. They're always design choices. That's her story. She's sticking to it.
Yes, that's what I tell people. That's right.
Okay, brilliant. So do you want me to go? Have I got anything else? No? That's it then. Everything is on the website now under show deals. Thank you ever so much for coming and seeing us. It's
Thank you.
Fascinating to hear from you. And Winwick Mum, any social media, just put in Winwick Mum and you'll find her.
I'm on it all.
She's on it all.
You can't get rid of her.
And she makes a good cup of tea apparently if you are in the village, and she'll just go to the pop into the shop. They'll tell you where she lives. That's happened in my shop. That's how people find me, because I gave out the name of the shop in my village. So people now go to the village shop and go, oh, we're friends of John, we've lost his address. They're all directed to my house. Thank you so much for coming in. Now, Yarn Lane will be back on, what day is it today? Wednesday? Friday. Oh, it's me, Friday and Saturday. Me, Friday, Saturday. So on Friday, is it Anna Nikki? Oh, no, Catherine Wright on Friday. Catherine Wright on Friday. Crocheted summer throws, and then on Saturday I've got Anna Nikki doing something else. Crochet cushion covers. So thank you. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh, well, I won't see you tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. Wendy will see you on Sewing Street tomorrow. I'm back on Sewing Street on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day.